But I'm in Google now with the PC set up in the conference room. And today I'm going to talk about social networking. I've been working in this space over 8 years now, and I was lucky to witness the launch and growth of 3 social networks. I would like to share my insights and experiences with you. First, I'm going to start off with what a social network is, and then I'm going to go into online social networking. A social network is basically the personal and professional relationships among individuals. And to make it more concrete, I want to go through my social network and how it evolved over time. So I came to Stanford a while ago, and at Stanford I met a whole bunch of people, and I want to talk about how these relationships evolved over time. So on the left top you see Sergio and TJ. They were office mates, and as a result they became really good friends. I started going to an eating club every day, and that's how I met Sergio and TJ. Then I started taking tennis classes at Stanford, and that's how I met Lada. And one day I invited Lada over to my eating club, and that's how she met TJ. And TJ and Lada met, they fell in love, and they got married. And moving on, over in London were undergraduates at Stanford University, and they were roommates, and they went in their freshman dorm. Stephanie and Rika, they had been best friends forever. They went to the same high school, and they were lucky to be in the same college. Oliver and Stephanie met during the freshman orientation. Oliver introduced Stephanie to Duncan. Duncan had a frog named Kermit, and Stephanie, knowing how much Rika likes frogs, introduced Rika to Duncan. So Duncan and Rika met, and they fell in love, and they got married. So how do I know all these people? So I met Oliver in a department lunch at Stanford. And Ella and Oliver met, not in the real world, they met online on Orkut.com. And at the time, Oliver was in New York, and Ella was in Estonia. And Oliver flew over eventually to meet her, and then they fell in love, and they got married. And then Ella moved to New York with him. Stephen and Peter both really like humor, and they're both big fans of the Onion website. And they both had personals on the site, and they ended up meeting each other on the surface, and they fell in love and they got married. Evelyn Oliver had a baby named Marius, so he comes into the picture. And here you kind of see how online social networks start affecting how relationships are evolving over time. And the neat thing is, with social networks, in real life, you only have like a small limited number of people you can meet. But with online social networking, right away you get to meet millions of different people, and it opens all sorts of opportunities. You find romance, you find activity partners, make friends, find jobs. So I had to paint the whole picture at Stanford. There were a whole bunch of more people. I met Julian through Oliver. Julian met her close friends. Matt took me to a party. That's where I met Ken. Ken and Tina got married. That's how I knew Tina. And the list goes on. Now let's go back to web communities and see how things actually started evolving. In 1995, Classmates started, and that's the first sign of online social networking. On Classmates, what you do is you enter your high school and college and what year you were there. And as a result, you get connected to your classmates. In 1996, 6 Degrees launched and became one of the most successful online networks with over 3 million members. On 6 Degrees, you could do queries like, tell me all the environmental lawyers within 3 degrees. And 3 degrees means my friends, friends of friends, or friends of friends of friends. Unfortunately, they were not able to monetize the servers and had to shut down in 2000. In 1999, QQ launched its IM-based community. At the same time, Cyber launched its forum-based web community. And then LiveJournal launched as a blogging community, which became a social network. In 2001, Cloud Nexus launched at Stanford, and I want to tell you about the story with Cloud Nexus and how I got into the social networking. space. When I was a student at Stanford, one of the things I noticed was it was really hard to make new friends. If you're an undergraduate, you meet most of your friends during your freshman year and spend the rest of your college life with them. If you're a grad student, you only meet people through your classes and department. And there are so many wonderful, interesting people, students on campus, and I wanted to make it really easy to meet each other. Another thing I noticed was most of the times you meet friends through your friends. So I thought, if there is like a cute girl or in your history class, the easiest way to meet them is through friends. What if that network was available online? That's how the idea of Club Nexus came around. And Club Nexus launched in November 2001 at Stanford as an online social network. And it became really viable. In 1 month, we had a third of undergraduate sign up. A year later, I was graduating from Stanford and I wanted to keep the connections as people finish law school. So I started working on InCircle. And InCircle became the Stanford Alumni Social Network that launched in 2002. Right after Stanford, I joined Google, and at Google, I wanted to create something that's more global, not just for undergraduates or alumni, but some place where anyone globally can connect. And that's how the idea of Orkut came around. And you can see all sorts of different social networks popping up at the same time. For instance, Friendster launched right after InCircle. You see LinkedIn, which is a professional social network. You see MySpace, which launched mostly in LA around the music community. And then you see more specialized networks. Even, for instance, if you look at Dogster was a social network for dogs where they become friends and socialize with each other. And you also see kid-related children's social networks like WebKids and Club Penguin. One of the latest big networks is Twitter, which is a status update-based social network. It also has like really high component on mobile. Now I'd like to talk about Club Nexus a bit more, because we have really interesting insights from Club Nexus. So Club Nexus launched as a social network on Stanford campus. And it had the usual set of components that a social networking has. Any online social network has a profile and a graph, friend graph, basically your friend list or what it is. And here we have the same similar set of features like the forum, event listing, and so on. And if you look at when people log in on Club Nexus, you can see that the peak hours were around 11 o'clock to midnight. A lot of students have classes at like 7 or 8 a.m. and the last thing they did was log into Club Nexus and spend time. One of these interesting things was that the peak traffic was around finals time. So when students have finals, the last thing they want to do is actually study, and they can do anything to procrastinate. And that's what you can always see on social networks like Orkut.com, where there's a higher peak during like finals and exam time. We collected a whole bunch of information. We asked students what department they were in, where they were right undergrad, what their interests were, and who their friends were. And here you see a sample profile from Caroline. We also asked them a whole bunch of questions about their personality. For instance, we asked them the 3 most important attributes that describe them. So we gave them the list of attributes given on the left-hand side, and we told them to pick 3 and only 3 of those. Now if you look at this graph, you'll see the difference between graduate and undergraduate students. For instance, if you look at being intelligent, most of the graduate students said that they were intelligent, which was like 40% compared to only 30% undergraduates. If you look at grad students, they also consider themselves to be like more responsible, closer to undergraduate students. And undergraduates said they were more funny, fun, and also unique. We also asked them what they looked for in a romantic relationship, and we gave them a set of attributes given on the left-hand side. And we asked them to take 3 and only 3 attributes. And if you look at the comparison between graduate and undergraduate students, you see that for graduate students, they look more for like common interests, 30% compared to to 35%, whereas undergraduates look for laughter, which was 50% compared to 35%. One of the really surprising and funny facts is